Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your very own candles just like this one. These candles are made completely of soy wax and essential oils, so they're totally clean and non-toxic and safe to breathe in. So what you're going to need to make these candles is some kind of empty glass jar. You can just save like a spaghetti sauce jar or a jelly jar, or you can buy fancier ones. You're going to need some 100% soy wax. You're going to need your essential oils. I'm making some Christmas candles today, so I have Christmas tree and holiday season. You'll need some cotton wicks. You can buy them already kind of in these little metal anchors. Popsicle sticks are not 100% necessary, but they'll help to keep the wicks steady. A glue gun to glue the wicks to the jars. And then for the actual candle making process, you'll need a candy thermometer and something to use as a double boiler. So I just use a big measuring cup inside of a pot of boiling water. So a good first step is just to measure out the amount of wax that you're going to need. So I use this little scooper, and what you're going to want to do is fill up whatever size glass jar you have and then double that amount. So it looks like this is going to take 3 or 4 scoops, which means that I'm actually going to want 6 or 8. So this looks about good. I'm going to dump it into what I'll use as my double boiler, and then I will do that one more time, and that'll be enough for one candle. So now that you're finished using your jars to measure out the wax, you can glue your wick on. So what you're going to do is put just a little dot of hot glue onto the metal anchor and then press it right into the middle of the bottom of your jar. And if you want to make sure that it's really stuck and sturdy, you can use your popsicle stick to just press that anchor into the bottom. The other place that the popsicle sticks are going to be helpful is just to hold the wicks upright when you do pour the wax in. Okay, now you have to do some math. I know it's not my forte either, but I promise you it's not that difficult. When I measured out all of my wax and poured it into my glass measuring cup, I found that it was about 3 cups of wax flakes, and that equals 24 ounces. I just used a Google calculator to figure that out. Now, what I've been doing for essential oils is about 12 drops of oil per ounce. So since I have 24 ounces of wax, 12 drops per ounce, that's 288 drops of oil. So I'm probably going to measure out about 300 drops of oil into a tiny glass jar, and that will be enough for those candles. Now I have my essential oils roughly measured out, and I'm going to just set this aside. You're going to save this for later. You're not combining it with the wax yet. But our next step will be to start melting the wax. So I'm going to take my 3 cups of wax and bring it over to the stove. I'm going to fill up my pot with some water. What I want to make sure is that when I put this over the side to create the double boiler, the water does not go over the top. You don't want any water in your candle. So make sure that it's high enough that it's going to heat up the glass, but not that it's going to go over the top. Now I have my double boiler all set up. I have my water in, not going over the top, and then you can set that to boil. I'll put it on high here. But again, you want to watch it and make sure that when it starts to boil and bubble, it doesn't go over the top. And once it starts to get really hot, you can gradually turn it down so that it's kind of like simmering and staying really warm, but it's not boiling over. Now, this is going to be the longest part of the process. You have to wait for the wax to cool. Now, obviously, the more wax you use, the longer it's going to take. But you're going to want to give it an occasional stir. And then once it starts to melt much more, that's when you're going to bring in your candy thermometer. But you really don't need that until the wax is getting liquidy. So now, as you'll see, it's starting to get nice and liquidy. We still have a ways to go, but I think that I can probably put my candy thermometer in now. So I'm going to remove my spoon and get my thermometer. And I like the ones that have the clip on the back here so that you can just clip it to the side and it'll stay up. All the products that I'm using specifically will be linked in my description, and they're also in the blog post version of this video. And then what you're going to want to do is just keep giving it that occasional stir, and you have to wait until it reaches 180, which is way up here, and it takes way longer than you want to reach 180. So we're just going to keep stirring and waiting for it to reach that heat. So once the thermometer hits 180, I actually went a little above by accident. You can take it out, and then you're going to actually let it sit. And you're going to wait until it reaches 130 to put your essential oils in. So I have them on deck right here, but this is actually probably the longest wait time that you're going to have. Once you get down to 130 degrees, you might find that your wax is starting to get a little bit cloudy, and now it's ready to put the essential oils in. So I'm going to dump my oils And then you want to make sure you give that a really good stir. You don't want the oils to just be like sitting on top of the wax in the candle because they are flammable. So you want to make sure that they are very combined. And now you're ready to pour. So you'll see that I have my jars with the wicks and I have some popsicle sticks. And you can just pour your wax right on in. You probably don't want to go like all the way to the top. You're going to want to leave a little bit of space. You'll want to let your candles sit for like 24 to 48 hours before you try lighting them. I lit this Christmas tree one yesterday. It was delicious. And now I'm going to light this triple wick experimental candle I made in the holiday season scent. But there you have it, your very own soy and essential oil candles.